Hey there, and welcome to Songs and Stories with Caroline Parke. We're at the Fourth Meridian Brewing Company in Lloydminster, Alberta. And my special guest today is Mr. Jimmy Cardinal. Jimmy, thanks for coming today.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Bit of a drive for you.
It was a good drive.
You're from the Smoky Lake area?
Yeah, and a little place called Bellis.
Okay.
And I took off from there this morning, and I was very excited. So I was tired, but I never felt the tiredness while driving because I wanted to get here and see what's going on. And
well, there's lots of songwriters in Lloydminster, and so I thought it was great to just give them a bit of a avenue to share with people about what they're up to.
Yes.
So you're a songwriter too, hey?
I'm a songwriter. Yes, I'm a helper also. Like what I do is sometimes I write gospel songs for people to help them heal from the loss of their families, loved ones, right? So these are the things I do.
Right.
So, and sometimes I just write a song because I feel like writing it, you know? Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of stuff I do. And I guess I'm looking forward to talking about a few of my songs, right? You know?
Yeah, how they came about and what your process is. Do you find that they're easy to write?
Sometimes they're really easy to write because depends what you're writing about and where your heart is at the time. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's really easy. I can write a song in 5 or 10 minutes, or sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 weeks. And there's songs that I've written 5, 6 years ago that are still sitting there.
Yeah, that are incomplete.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got a lot of them.
Yeah. That's pretty natural, I think, though, hey?
That's like at the moment I felt that. But what I think I need and something like that is you need a partner. You know, I wrote songs alone. I always written alone, right? Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes I should have someone with me writing together and share their thoughts. And I think some of these songs would be complete because somebody else would think of the next line, right?
Right.
You know, I love listening to, I'm a country fan, and I love listening to country music, especially the wording of songs, you know, like, and I go, where did they get that? You know, like, what were they thinking?
Yeah, how did they come up with that line, right? Yeah. And then it perfectly matches the next line.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like one song that always keeps in my mind, like it's not my song, but that I heard, and I'm just going to talk one line about it, and it's called "Angels Like Her."
Okay.
And it's a song, and but you know, the song starts with the sunbeam hit the gym beam and ricocheted of a bottle of Coke, and I go, hey.
Unexpected, right?
Yeah,
it catches your ear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I go, wow. And it talks about something about the night before smoke, and that's what it blends into. And I'm going, wow, that's the kind of songs I want to write.
Yeah.
But I haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
Mine are simple, very simple, it's straightforward. And sometimes I find some good lines, and I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. I guess I'll always stay a simple songwriter, and you can't,
You can't go wrong with those hard rhymes and.
Well, like Hank Williams.
Yes.
I still credit. He's been gone for years, over 70 years, but he in the short time that he was here, he was such a straight, simple songwriter.
Such a force too, right?
Yeah. I just love it. Alan Jackson's another guy, right?
Yeah.
I just thought I'd talk about that a little bit. That's where I get my inspiration.
Okay.
From songwriters such as them.
Yep.
And the older I get, right? And I think about that.
Yeah.
The older I get, what kind of songs am I going to start writing?
Yeah.
I know I wanted to write songs more lively when I was younger. Now that I'm older, I feel like I write more gospel. for
more
people.
heartfelt stuff.
Yeah. And that's what I do.
Well, the world is a cruel place, and helping people through those times is got to be deeply meaningful, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And like I say, another song that helps me in the gospel is "The Lord Take My Hand, Lead Me Home" is Jamie Johnson song.
Okay.
And it's a song that just kind of blends into the stuff that I write, right? And I just love it. I love these things. I love songwriting. I can wake up first thing in the morning, and I can pick up my guitar, but I have to record it, because if I don't,
it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Right? But I can sing a whole song.
Like fresh one.
Fresh one, without and rhyming it same time.
Yeah.
Without writing any words down.
It's almost like rapping. Those guys, they rap and they make it up as they go, right? But yeah.
That's what I do. I can pick up a guitar and sing the whole song.
Even better, yeah.
And I got some songs in my that I recorded that I just started singing out of the blue. And then
so spontaneous, eh?
Yeah. I do a lot of that.
Wow.
And my wife sometimes says to me, she says, "I never heard that song before. Whose song is that?"
Yeah.
And I go, "I just made that up."
Yeah. What a gift.
Yeah. And she says, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "But I don't know what to do because I didn't record it."
Oh, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Because
I said, "I can't sing it again."
Yeah.
It just that's
I actually used to do that with my kids, making up little kid songs about them as they're playing in front of me. But I've never tried it with an actual song like that I would keep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds fun though.
It really is. I really like that. And like I say, or sometimes I'm traveling down the road and I start tapping my feet and I'll turn the radio off. Then I'll sing a song. I'll turn on my my phone and record myself singing a song.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of them, and I never go back. I never go back to check them.
To catalog them.
Yeah.
You should hand that off to somebody. Say, type these all up for me, will you?
Yeah, it is just. But I think of lyrics is something that's good to have, but also the music that you want to put behind them lyrics, right?
Right. Yeah, the melody. It's funny how you can have the melody, but then the different backing chords you choose can change the emotions almost,
right.
eh? Yeah.
And I always like people say, "Oh, that sounds so much like this certain song," and then I go, "You're right." But if you really listen to it, the chords aren't the same. They don't change in bar 4, bar 6, whatever, right?
Right, yeah.
I change them. I do my own style. I'm not a real top brand on time person.
Right.
When I did my CDs, and that's what that guy told me, "It's your song, Jim. You play it and sing it the way you want it."
Yeah.
And I thought that was a great teaching.
Yeah.
And then he says, if somebody wants to learn it, they can play it your way.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do, he says. You got to learn to play their song.
It's good when someone gives you that permission, hey,
Yeah.
and just say, put it out there however you want it. It's your art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that was good. That brought me some more confidence in writing.
Okay.
And the way I write.
Yeah.
And I just love, like I say, writing music and all different types of music, right? And I'll write about almost anything that somebody mentions something. One-liners are the best. Somebody will say something or I'll read something. I'll turn it into a song.
Right.
Do
you have a list of one-liners?
No, usually I wait, be spontaneous.
Yeah.
Like something I hear.
Yeah.
And then I go, that could be a song.
And then
and then I'll turn it into a song.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like I remember my Uncle James McDonald when he passed away. I wanted to write a song about him, right? And then I said, what am I going to write about? I was sitting there for a few days trying to think of a song, and then one day I read something, right? and it says, after I'm gone. And that was all I needed. That was the guidance, right?
Yeah.
After I'm gone. And, and I like pressure writing.
Okay.
I like somebody, my daughter asked me, she just got married June 14th.
Oh, congratulations.
And said, Dad, can you write a song for us? And I go, yeah, this was like back in January. And I go, yeah, I can do that. And she says, okay. About every month she calls me. Dad, you have the song yet? No. Yeah. Why not? Like, well, I'm not sure what to write, But my girl, you know me, I'm a pressure writer.
Right.
I like to be under pressure. Then it comes to me, right? And I think a week before the wedding, I got the song, and I wrote the song and I sang it at her wedding. And of course, like when I first sang it to her and she says, Dad, it's a sad song. And I said, see, that's the difference from when you're not a musician. You hear it as a sad song. I hear it as a story.
Unfolding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, and that's how you got to listen to it. You have to listen to it as a story. And then she did, and she says, wow, that made a difference.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
And that's how I write, I said,
Yeah.
I unfold a story.
Yeah.
On something, right? And that's I did that. And, I wrote a song one time about my daughters and, and it's called, Dad Can't Fix a Broken Heart.
Oh. Yeah.
So, when you were a little girl, you'd come and running and I'd put you on, Dad, I just scraped my knee is what the song goes, right? And I said, I'd put you on top of my knee and I'd pat your knee and off you go and you're happy. And today you come running and you said, Daddy's gone. But my girl, I'm sorry to tell you, Dad can't fix a broken heart.
Aww.
So that's one of the songs I wrote. But I don't sing it much, but every now and again I listen to it.
Yeah.
I had wrote it a few years ago, and that's where it stays, right? Because I guess when I'm ready, I'm waiting to find someone that would do some recording, because we did a couple CDs a few years back. And
it's like some originals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every CD had 8 originals that I wrote.
Great. So how many albums do you have out then?
Two CDs. So I got 16 songs, right?
Yeah.
And I have maybe 30 songs that are be ready to go.
Yeah.
But I like to do no more than 8 originals in a CD, and have 4,
cover tunes.
Yeah, cover tunes. Yeah,
I like. Yeah, it's nice to put a cover tune in on an original album, right? Yeah. Gives a bit of a flavor that people recognize.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
cool.
And that's what I did. And but the first CD I made was the reason we really got into making the CD was we were sponsored by Fort McKay, and thank you, Fort McKay, by the way. And we were sponsored by Fort McKay, but I couldn't dub my music because my lungs were so bad at that time that I only can sing 1 song a day.
Okay.
That's how bad it was, right?
Yeah.
So I'd sing 1 song. So we did everything live. We do a song live and record it. So there's a little bit of flat notes in some of them, and you can't adjust them because it was live, right?
Okay.
But I just wanted to put a CD out before I lost my voice. And then a couple of years go by, and then my my lungs start to get better. And then, so when I did my second album, now I got to dub and do more work to it, right?
Good.
So we did that. So it was good to see the better album. I call this the second one.
Yeah.
But in a sense of speaking, I had a lot of great songs on the first one.
Yeah.
That people loved.
There's nothing like live off the floor recordings. I have a real appreciation for that, but it is nice when you can put some production time into things and iron out a few things here
Yeah.
and there. Yeah.
And the second one, I got to do my own harmony and everything, right?
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I did a lot of that. And it's so, you know, I used to listen to Waylon Jennings. Waylon Jennings did a lot of his own harmony.
Okay.
And when you do your own harmony, it blends. It blends like, I don't know how to describe it.
It is. It's unlike any other thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
sometimes I'll sing to my own song in the car, and I'm thinking, wow, it's really interesting how it sits right on top. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not even harmonizing, but I think it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the things I like for sure. Yeah.
So, any plans to record anymore?
Oh, you know, I have plans, but like I want to find a person that's a little more affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like, but yet good.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. And that's what I'm looking for. Like, we had the gentleman we had. I think I'd still use him, but he had shut down his studio, and he's got everything in his house. But I don't know what he's got in there. You know, he's affordable.
Well, I listen to your live streams, and honestly, I feel like you guys should do a live album. You're so fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Well, it's the other 5 people, eh? You know?
Well, yeah, getting everyone in the same room. But yeah, I wonder if you treat it like a gig, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone show up and come and play for 2 hours and
I've been,
see what
you know,
get.
and our lead guitar player is also, he records stuff, right? You know?
Okay. Oh,
He's got
yeah.
a computer and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I've been, you know, talking to Rick, and we're looking at it like we should invest in a brand new computer for him.
Oh, yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and then everything is there. Like right now, when you have another computer, everything, you're always looking for something, right? And yeah, I got, I've been thinking that's what we should do. He does record some of our live shows, and some of them sound good.
Yeah. Well,
We just have to put them together.
Well, can you tell us about the band? What's the name of the band and where?
Our band is called Nicely Put Together Band, and we're like originated from Fort McKay. Thank you, Fort McKay. Fort McKay's always been good to me. It's like home, and they treat me like one of their own. And Rick is from there. He's our boss man.
Okay.
And we have a 6-piece band. We have 2 young ladies, beautiful young ladies. I got one fiddler that's Deanna Dolstra, who's a great fiddler, and she's a great harmonizing singer. And she's also a singer, but we just haven't promoted her yet because we have like a show that we have to do all the time.
Yeah, I heard her sing once, and I just was like blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
she's a great
said,
singer.
how come you're not singing? Well, she can play fiddle like a dream, so she's doing what she's good at. But yeah, she can sing too.
And she can sing harmony. Oh.
Yeah.
And then we have Priscilla Morn Lamouche, who was originally Priscilla Morn. She had some songs that she released years ago when she was young.
Oh, okay.
And she's a great singer. And we have our lead guitar player, Rory Collins. He's a great singer. And we have our bass guitar player, Bob Roselle. He's a great singer. And, you know, these guys are just great musicians, right? Rick sings, but he says, no, we have enough. Yeah, he's a drummer, right? He's a drummer.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's me. Like I do more of the frontman show. I'll do a few songs, but more just to keep the crowd going.
Yeah, you really interact with the audience really well.
And that's what you know. Just last night we were in Fort McMurray.
Okay.
And me and this young nephew of mine, and I always call him nephew, not really, but we, you know, that's in our culture. That's how we do things.
Is it not Mel? Is it?
No, it's
okay.
It's Bryce Delorme.
Okay.
His name. He's a good little fiddler, and I took him with me because Deanna couldn't make it. I need a fiddler, and the people that we entertained would love fiddling. And he was telling me, he said, "You sure know how to keep the crowd happy."
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
so for me, when he says that, it's a teaching to him. It's a teaching to this is my philosophy in life and in a music world is it doesn't matter if you're the best singer in the world or not. if you don't find the crowd to love you,
Right.
it doesn't matter how good you are.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how good a
There's
singer
really
you are.
some really good singers out there that are just not personable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just doesn't.
And I make sure wherever I play, I take the time to go off stage and meet everybody, shake everybody's hand.
Yeah.
And then they remember you,
Well,
right?
and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Is connecting with people, right?
Right.
So that's great.
And just a few weeks ago, we opened up for Terry Clark in Fort McKay.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was a great show. We had a great time. It had some great bands there.
So you got to meet her, do you think?
I got to meet her. I got a picture of her and I, and I got to meet her. She's a nice young lady.
I remember when she came out, like, I don't know, what was it, 1992?
Yeah.
Or so I was in grade 3. I remember running for the radio and listening to her, and there's a few other ones there, but the 90s country, you can't beat it. Like,
No.
It's really solid stuff.
Like country to me isn't really country anymore. Except there's some good ones, right?
Sprinkled in there.
Zach Top with "I Never Lie." I love that song. Like there's a few good ones, right?
Yeah.
But, and then Alan Jackson and George Strait will come out with something.
Yeah.
Sammy Kershaw, and all the old greats are gone now. So like, I've got inspired by some young people for sure.
Yeah, it's encouraging that there's a few young ones coming up that are like really nailing what strikes at my heart.
Yeah.
And the sound too. It's not like too commercialized or, overproduced or something like that. Because I feel like when they dress it up too much, they're trying to sell you something.
Mm-hmm.
And really, you just want the story and the connection, and almost sometimes just like just a raw instrument and live.
Mm-hmm.
Just one guitar and a songwriter is all you need.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love I do a lot of videos,
Mm-hmm.
like on Facebook, like not as much as I used to, but I get so many requests. I had to put a stop to it somewhere, otherwise I'd be singing all day.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't leave the phone, and I'm thankful for that.
But how do you slow that down?
Yeah, right.
It's kind of dynamic, right?
And I'm always on the go. I'm always on the road, I'm always,
you got gigs pretty steady with your nicely put together band.
Yeah, we're always on the go. And then I got little extra things I do.
Yeah.
Because I'm also a radio host, right?
Oh, okay.
So I do that, a little bit. So
do you have to do that live, like in person?
No, it's not live, but I make it sound like it's live.
Right. But do you have to drive to the studio to record?
No, I used to.
Oh, okay.
I used to, and then COVID hit.
Oh, and so everyone's remote now, right?
we started working from home, and then and of course I lost some money on it, but if I can do it from home, and it saves me a trip.
Save the mileage, yeah.
So
is that a weekly show that you do?
I'm on CFWE Monday to Friday.
Oh.
11 to 2 every day.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know
Friday,
it was that. That's a
and then on Wednesday we have what they call Convo Cree. Hiyowewen means we speak our language.
Right.
And we tell stories. My wife and I are on that show.
Okay.
Evelyn Steinhauer, Dr. Evelyn Steinhauer.
Yeah.
And that's what we do every Wednesday. And as a matter of fact, I was listening to our show this morning, and it was really good.
So it's stories in Cree.
Stories in Cree and English.
Oh, okay.
Because we have to touch all fans, right?
Yeah.
So
I know that there's lots of people in Onion Lake that post about asking how to say certain words.
Yeah.
So you need a dictionary or something to hand out to folks.
Well, I'm not the best Cree speaker around, but I grew up with it. But what happened was I moved to Fort McMurray when I was just a young man and never spoke much my language, right?
Okay.
And then not until I came back, then I almost had to relearn it again.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot a lot of words like animals and stuff like that. Sometimes somebody will say, I seen a mink the other day, and how do you say mink? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of goes away on you.
That's what happens, right?
Yeah.
And it really sad that when you lose your language to a certain point, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but I do write songs in my language.
You do? Oh, good. Okay.
I do that. I got this big guy with me. What I'll do is I'll just kind of write. The song is about. I wrote this song for my brother. So my brother Brian, he loves to drink, right?
Okay.
But he also loves to dance, and he loves. This was his younger days, right? And I was thinking about him, and I go, a friend of mine was talking to me and said we should write some songs in Cree. And then I go, boy, that's a good idea, and so I come up with this song. What I'll do is I'll just sing one verse and one chorus of it, right? And I'll kind of talk about it after.
Okay.
Nimietin emni Christian, Nimietin and Agamusian, Nimietin and Mimikian, Aktoski Skakifse, Etakamixian. Nitami miton katagapean, Nitanagamon kagisquepean, Muinta Tuscan kamni Christian, Aktoski Skakifse, Etakamixian. Kaktoski skak, epse etakamixian. Asko mana muya begiwan. Nimietin emni Christian, Nimietin en agamusian, Nimietin en mikian. Kaktoski skak, epse etakamixian. Kaktoski skakepse etakamixian. So
Cool.
So what that song says is Nimietin en Christian means I like to drink a little bit. Nimietin en agamusian means I like to sing a little bit. And Nimietin en mistian, I like to dance a little bit. And on Saturday night, that's what I do. That's what that song talks about.
Awesome. Wow.
So that's how I came up with it. But my first original Cree song that I wrote, and it's in the first album, and we were sitting around, and my friend says to me, this is what I was talking about, the same guy that he talked about it, and he says, boy, we should write a Cree song. I'd love to hear a good Cree song. And then I go, okay, you mean something like this? That's where, like I was telling you about, like I could come up, right?
Yeah.
I go, something like, Kaya ekstuta, Kaya ekstuta, Kaya mina kanagasin kakemana espuetin, kaktoski skak.
I like it.
So, and I wrote that song just instantly. And just the way I'm singing, that's how I started it.
Yeah.
I picked it up and he just looked at me and said, you wrote that song already. I said, I've never sang that song in my life.
Yeah.
I said, it just came to my mind.
Yeah.
And I sang that chorus right there just like that. That's where that song originated from.
Nice.
Then took me a while to write the rest of the song. Try and fit it, right?
But you have the bones.
Yeah.
Right? And that's important.
So what it is Kaya means don't. Kaya ekstuta means don't do that. Kaya ekstuta, don't do that, right?
Yeah.
Kaya mina means Kaya mina kanagasin means don't go and leave me again. Kaya mina kanagasin kakemana espuetin, and you always leave on a Saturday night. I like them Saturday night songs on Cree.
Yeah.
So that's some of the songs I write. I got a few more Cree ones, and that's two of my favorites. One of them is a first CD called Métis Man, and I got the second one, the Métis, is on our second CD. So yeah, we got and just talking about a little bit about Métis Man.
Yeah.
I had a friend, Gerald White, great friend. And I went and visited him, and I was singing some songs. Back them days, I used to write union songs, right? And because I was in the union, and I was a president of the union, and I got requested one night to do some union songs. I said, I don't know no union songs. And then I said, but I'll have one for you tomorrow night. And then he says, you'll have a song for us tomorrow night. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go write it in the room. I'll have it here tomorrow night, right?
Yeah.
And the next night I come back, and I wrote the song, right? I come back with the song, you know, and so I sang it to them. They couldn't believe it, right? You know, sometimes I get lucky like that, you know. I'll say things, and I have to live through pressure. There I go.
Yeah,
that pressure,
yeah.
You know, and that's just some of the ways that I write song. I think about Métis Man. Gerald White was a good friend of mine, and he heard me singing these songs, and he says, oh, I love the way you write the songs. He says, I want to be able to do that. We should write songs together. You know, Gerald, he said, why don't we do that next summer? I always take a month, 2 months off work every summer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come here. We'll sit down. We'll write songs. You know, he says, okay, sounds like a plan. We'll write some songs. And we lost them that coming year in February, January sometime. My friend, he was like 20 years younger than me, right?
Yeah.
And and we didn't ever got a chance to write songs together, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I knew who he was. I knew his life and stuff. And we were going to Fort McKay. We're going to play Fort McKay Treaty Days. And I said to Rick, I'm writing a song. And then I phoned him about half an hour later, and I said, I got a song. And I played over. He said, I love it. Finish it. He said, we'll play it this weekend. So we did.
No way.
Yeah.
And you played it that weekend. Yeah.
And
That's great.
it's a Gerald White song, right? And it goes, I was born a Métis, born on Métis land, raised on a settlement, proud to be a Métis man. Well, today I work in white man's world. I'm Métis, a Métis girl, right? So I wrote that song, right? You know, and then there's a line in Cree there, right? But the Cree that I say is exactly same story in the English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when you hear that song and you hear the Cree words, and then you hear the second part of the verse,
Yeah.
it's a
mirror.
repeat. It's a repeat, but except it's English.
Okay.
You know,
Well, so you only had to write half the song then.
Well, actually, it's hard to fit.
Yeah, the metering, right?
Yeah.
And the syllables.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah.
It was really like I
Yeah.
got to find the right words, like, you know.
Yeah.
And like and it goes. Mukat wikat ngasimun means I never speak, you know. Kakengipe neyawan magani ginagaten munyana etoskeyan. Then in English I go, never spoke a word of English, 'cause Cree was all I ever knew. Well, I left my home just to roam, doing things like white folks do. I was born a Métis. So that's you know.
Jeez, I love the vibe, like the energy and your strumming, and you're awesome.
That's the way I wrote, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, you know, one time my daughter and I, we were leaving Fort McMurray, and we're coming to Edmonton, and that's the one that just got married back in June. There.
Okay. Yeah.
She was quite young then. She could she was early 20s. We're coming to Edmonton, and she was going to go visit her friend, and we just left Fort McMurray, close to Hanging Stone area. There was a big accident there, and like people were there already. So I drove by real slow, and I said to my girl, "How does it look like? Does it look good, Dad?" Okay, so we got to Edmonton, pulled out my guitar, and I said, you know, going to write a song, you know. Yeah. And so I wrote this song called White Knuckle Highway, right? I'm leaving in the morning. I'm heading down south. I don't wonder if I'll make it always down this white knuckle highway 63. I'm driving my pickup, some are driving the cars, but the semis on the road, they can take you where you are. This white knuckle highway 63. It's the white knuckle highway 63. When I'm driving this highway, please pray for me. It's hours of hell run through your mind. This white knuckle highway taking many lives. So
Yeah. I used to live up in Fort McMurray, actually, so I know what you mean.
yeah,
And it's kind of morbid to think about it, but yeah, every time you leave the house or you leave the town, you wonder,
if I'm going to make it this time,
yeah, because
is it my turn?
There's so many people that don't make it.
And some people, like, you know, they doubled it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they've eased the danger. It's just that people drive so much faster.
Yeah.
I'm going 130 and they're passing me.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Well,
I'm
I hear
speeding.
it's the same on the highway too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like taking back roads myself.
Oh yeah, so that's some of the songs I wrote. But there's one I'll you know, like one day Mel,
Yeah,
cousin Mel,
yeah.
was talking. He says, my friend just said, he says, said to his wife, you don't love me, you just love my credit card, right?
Sounds like it's a country song to me.
And so I said, wow, okay. So I go, okay. She don't love me, she loved my credit card. She called me master, loved my credit card. Yo, when they're maxed out, oh, my times are hard. You know? So I wrote the song about that. It's in the album. It's called Credit Card.
Cool.
My son Virgil sings that song, right?
Oh, okay.
You know, and we just, that's some of the stuff that that I write. And I like I say, one-liners.
Mm-hmm.
I hear something.
Mm-hmm.
So Mel and Virgil, of course, they when they hear me sing these songs, simple songs, I think they're waiting to write the songs like what I said there. The sunbeam hit the gym beam.
Yeah.
You know, that's the kind of lines they're looking for. Well, guess what? You'll get them if you keep writing the simple ones.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Yeah.
You got to write a lot of simple ones to get there.
Yeah.
You know.
They kind of build up a little bit. Yeah.
And that's what I feel, right?
I like that B7 chord. That's my favorite chord. And not a lot of people use it, you know, but I noticed you're playing that one.
And back in 1985, like there was no road to a place called Janvier, right?
Okay.
And it was the only way to get there. We were playing there on one weekend, where you're on I think it was on a Friday. We're going by train
To Jami?
to Janvier, right?
Oh.
And they're going to pick us up there. A place called Chard was where like
I
it's
didn't know
about.
they had a train going up there.
Yeah,
Isn't it all
I'm
on-
talking about 1985 here. Right?
But isn't it full of muskeg?
Well, no, there's a train all the way to Fort Malkin. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
But, and was my 1967. I rode a train all the way to Fort McMurray.
Wow.
The first time I went there, I was only 16 years old. Right.
Wow. Okay.
I went to visit my brother when he was working there, and so anyway, we were waiting there, you know, back with my old band, and we were called Strangers, STRAYNGERS, Strangers.
Okay.
You know, so we had a good, like, strong five-piece band.
Yeah.
And great harmony. And we were sitting there, we got the train, and train was late. And I remember saying, finally, 9:45 it arrived. Supposed to be there at 9, right? So anyway, we're gonna, so I just remember that line, right? And we all got in a caboose, and there was one extra caboose in the back. The boys, of course, there weren't that many people, and the boys are there, and they're popping beer. And I said, let's write some songs. And I said, write songs? Are you crazy? We're going to drink. We got to get ready for tonight,
Okay.
But like I said, I never drank, right? And I was the different guy, and I said, okay, I'll be right back. I'll go in the back caboose over there. So I went to the back caboose, and I stood there, and I took my guitar, and I came up with the song. But to tell the story is that was the one time that I had everybody's help in writing the song, right?
Yeah.
Because they were all there. When they heard it, they said, "Oh my God, like let's do it. Let's write this song." And we finished it. We'll play it tonight, and we did. I didn't sing it, but I was the original songwriter on it, right? Taking that 9:45, Dennis and all of the guys, everyone drinking beer, making a trip of the year, riding that steel road to Janvier. It's such a pleasing feeling, hanging smoke from the ceiling. Crowd was kicking up quite a fuss, with hours of boozing and picking, and lots of good time kicking. Steel road to Janvier sure took a hold on us. Taking that 9:45, Dennis and all of the guys, everyone drinking beer, making a trip of the year, riding that steel road to Janvier. So I just sang a chorus and
Nice.
the last verse, right?
Yeah.
And
great.
I think,
It's nice to have local songs too, right?
Right.
Like everyone from Janvier is going to want to sing.
Oh,
that
they
song.
love it.
Yeah.
like in Facebook, I get the requests on, Steel Road to Janvier, right?
Oh, yeah, good.
With my friends there. And I go to Janvier, when I play there, that's the first song they want to hear,
Yeah.
and our band doesn't do it anymore, right?
Oh.
So yeah, that's some of the songs that I wrote. And
So how long, how old were you when you got your first guitar? And can you tell
I
me-
think I was about 14 years old.
do you remember what model it was?
I don't know what was model, but I know it was Sunburst.
Okay.
Okay, and it had them music signs here,
Okay.
guitar,
Yeah.
and it had the steel back here. The steel I went around to the,
Oh, yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah.
back.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
And that's all I can remember. What
Okay.
make, I didn't know what
Yeah.
it was, right? And so,
Was it a pivotal moment when you get your first instrument, right?
and I didn't know how to tune it, right?
Oh,
But what I used to do was, when we, back in them days, we had, our house was where we had parties, like mom and dad would have a party. So take all the furniture out, put it in a tent, and have a dance on a Saturday night. This is just ways things used to be.
Yeah.
And people would come and play fiddle and play guitar. And I would sit there and watch the people, how they hold their fingers on the guitar.
okay.
That's how I learned.
Yeah.
And what bar. It took me a while to understand why is it always on the same spot, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So I had a few cousins that were first cousins that were like Laurie Gladue, who was a good guitar player, and Billy Cardinal was another good guitar player. They start teaching me a little bit. They tuned it up the guitar for me, and I don't remember always being perfectly in tune,
Right.
But I remember my first song was it was a gospel song. And I was standing on a chair singing because we had a minister come to our house. And Minister Jackson, as a matter of fact, is still alive. He's from Goodfish. And he came there. And what I did was I stood in a chair and I sang this song. That was my first song I ever sang ever, up in front of anyone, right?
Yeah.
And after that, I learned to play that guitar.
How
And
much you want to bet your gospel song was a Hank Williams song?
That's pretty close. I don't know who sang that song, but it's a song that goes, Jesus loves me, this I know.
Okay.
That was my first song
Really?
ever. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I remember singing it and standing on a chair. And I loved it. And then after that, I started to learn to play guitar. And for many years, like I never really owned a guitar, like a good guitar.
Okay.
And till I started working.
Yeah.
After that, like I play, but I'd use somebody else's guitar because I never had one,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And at 15, they were using me to play, to sing in bars. And what would happen was they'd get someone to escort me in, go on stage, do my 3-4 songs, escort me out.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I do.
Yeah.
And like I played in Cold Lake when I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
And I used to travel with this band, and the band was made of with Archie Jackknife, Dolphus Quinn, Sinclair. Archie Jackknife was a fiddler. Dolphus Quinn was a bass player, and Bill Sinclair, late Bill Sinclair, he was the lead guitar player, and he played his guitar like the Merle Haggard style back in the days, right? Back in the 60s. And Walter Quinn was, we never had a drummer. Never had a drummer back then. Every now and again we did, but you know, most of the time, no, in the bars and stuff. Walter Quinn was the singer. Walter Quinn was Cardinal at the time, and great singer. He's what a voice that man had. And I was a halftime singer. Every now and again, I do a few songs.
Yeah.
Walk me in, walk me out, right? And then I remember in the 70s, when I got the job at Suncor, my first guitar was an Ovation.
Okay.
You know, and I love that Ovation. As a matter of fact, my son Virgil still has it. I'd given it to my oldest daughter, second oldest daughter, Shelley, and she doesn't play guitar, but she's a singer, and she doesn't play guitar, so she gave it to her brother. I said, "That's fine. It's up to you. It's your guitar."
What about this guitar here? Like,
And then I got. My dream was to have a Gibson one day, right? And I had F phones. I've got 3 of them, 3 F phones that I bought, and because I couldn't afford the $4,000 or $5,000 guitar.
Yeah.
I think this guitar is now $7,000-8,000.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So I couldn't afford that. You know, my family was always more important. So to feed the family rather than buy myself a guitar.
Yeah.
You know, and so anyway, I had headphones. I have a Yamaha made out of bamboo. I love that guitar. It's a good sounding guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Martin, but Gibson guitar was my dream. Such a dream that I bought 3 different F phones. You know, one my wife Evelyn bought for me.
Yeah.
The latest one, and I always tell her, you know, my dream is to have a Gibson J200. Boy, one Christmas, guess what I got 5-6 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
My baby, right? You know?
Yeah.
And
Good.
but sometimes I don't treat my baby like I should.
No?
No.
Did you write a song?
Well, no.
Called
But I mean, I'm always traveling,
Yeah.
throwing in and out. It's always in and out, right?
Yeah.
You know. And just the other day, I missed this brand new Gibson J200 case for $200. I was going to buy it, right? But I'll buy one. You know, buy a new one for it because I just want to use that old one for traveling. But when I get home, I want to take it out and put them in the good case.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm going to travel with it, I put it back in the other case.
Yeah.
So I'm a real proud owner of the Gibson. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other day I was in St. Paul and I bought a guitar, a Taylor.
Okay.
I got 2 Taylors now. I also got a Taylor.
Okay,
But-
so you're a little bit of a collector, hey? A little bit.
I had a lot more.
Oh,
I didn't wait.
okay.
I had a Fender Telecaster.
Yeah.
I'm not a good picker, but when we played in their first band, I put licks in there like it was like my singing, the songs that I make up.
Uh-huh. Just
It's Goodbye. I'll do it once.
Yeah.
I put licks in there, and the other singer would look at me and go, "Save that."
Yeah.
I don't know what I did.
God. Yeah. Jeez.
Don't know what I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can hear it, but that's it. I don't know how.
Yeah.
That's what I used to do. So I had a Fender Tele. I gave him to my son Virgil, right? Because I had quit playing 1991 to 2005.
Wow.
I didn't do anything.
Well, that's great that you jumped back in. What was that decision? How did that come about?
Well, what happened was Rick Grandjam,
Yeah.
he phoned me one day. He says, "Jim, I need a singer this afternoon. Can you help me out?" Well, Rick, I haven't sang in years, but, I need a singer. My singer is passed out, can't make it. I said, "Okay, I'll come."
Yeah.
So I go to Fort McKay, and we're there and started playing with this band, and we played one set. Sounded pretty good actually for never playing,
Yeah.
for 15 years or so, 14, 15 years. And then this lady comes up to me and he says, "Wow," he says, "you guys sound good. What's the name of your band?" "Oh, I don't know, ma'am. I don't know. I'm only here for filling." I said, "I'm just helping out." "Oh, but you guys really sound good." "Yeah, we're nicely put together," I said. And that's where the name came from.
Cool.
That was the line,
And that was the beginning of a whole nother portion of your life almost, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I said, "But we're nicely put together." and then Rick heard that. He says, "That's it. That's the name of our next band." He says, "Cause Jim, by the way, you're hired. I just fired the other guy."
Just fired.
So that's what I've been playing with him since, right?
That's awesome. That's great. All right, well, let's move on to the next portion where we'll do a little mini concert. I can't wait to hear what you're going to play for us.
Hi, my name is Jim Cardinal. I just going to do a few songs that I've written. And these songs are heartfelt songs. They're not really gospel, but some may classify them as that. But I classify them as a life's teaching and life's memories and what life gives you on this earth and how you look at life. That's what these songs are about. In 2008, I lost a daughter, and it was hard to unhook her. She had gotten an accident, and so we had to unhook her. And I went for a walk, and I was praying, of course, to have the strength to continue and do what's right. And these words, that song I'm going to sing, came to me, and I can hear this voice saying, "It's okay. I know why. I know why she's leaving." And so I said, "Wow, yes, you know why." So as I wrote the song, and I call it "Only God Knows Why." The first day you were born, there was love. An angel sent from heaven above. I took you in my arms, oh so close. I said then I'd never let you go. Years go by, you grew and grew. No one knows way I knew you. The time has come for me to say goodbye. I might let you go, and only God knows why. Only God knows why you must go. Only God knows why you're going home. I must say goodbye as I cry. I understand, and only God knows why. A short life that you live, full of dreams, sadness among your friends and family. A leading angel is what God needs, and that's why we must set you free. Only God knows why you must go. Only God knows why you're going home. We must say goodbye as we cry. We understand, and only God knows why. Brittany, my girl, only God knows why. So I wrote that song, and and I think it's a way to ease your mind. And I sang it on her funeral day, and a lot of people said, like, I was strong man to be able to sing that in front on the day we're burying her. And that's but I still go through a lot of I'm doing these songs because they were my heartfelt songs that I wrote, and they were the songs that I wrote the fastest, And one day, about 5 years after I was going back to work, Fort McMurray, and I was about just the other side, Mariana Lakes, and I started bawling, like I was falling apart of the loss of my girl, and I didn't know what to do, didn't know what, I was just bawling. So I pulled over, I phoned my boss, and I said to my boss, I don't think I'll make it on time. I said, I told him what was happening, and this is 5 years after. And as I pulled over, as I'm bawling, and just believe. I keep hearing this word, believe. You have to believe, Jim. And I said, I believe. Then I left. I went to work. When I got to work, it was like 3 hours late. It was just at coffee time. I just walked in at coffee time, right? And I kind of sat alone. I don't usually sit alone, but that day I just kind of sat alone. I went and sat alone, and I pulled out a pen and paper, and I wrote the song during that coffee break, And so this song is also in the first album, and this one's called I Believe, and this is what eases my heart, and I've been healing real good since. I believe there's a reason why you're gone. A few years now, you left us here alone. I believe you're needed somewhere else. Though we wanted you all to ourselves. I believe in power of love. I believe in God up above. I believe you're walking by his side. I believe in life after life. I believe you're an angel up above. Every day we feel the closeness of your love. I believe your beauty will never change. For the smile you left us still the same. I believe in power of love. I believe in God up above. I believe you're walking by his side. I believe in life after life. I believe memories don't fade away, for we think of you every day. I believe you live within our heart, for we know we will never part. I believe in power of love. I believe in God up above. I believe you're walking by his side. I believe in life after life. I believe in life after life. So that song kind of helped me in many ways to, go through life. And then other things happen. We lose other relatives. And then I always end up singing a song, especially as someone I'm close to. And my uncle, Ernest, see if this song is it hasn't been recorded. And what I want to do is when I record, I want to put some fiddle tunes on certain places. And we talk just about fiddle, right? And it's about, I might have to stop a little bit and move this up. And let's see. Maybe I can even remember the words, but I'll see what I can remember here. This song it's called "Don't Take That Fiddle Down," so I might have to strum and just kind of. Okay. Take that fiddle down, son. Take that fiddle down. We got company coming. They'll want to hear me play. Take that fiddle down, son. Take that fiddle down. We got company coming. I'm sure they're gonna stay. As I lay here in my bed, I hear the angels sing. They're coming to get Daddy. Give him his angel wing. With hearts sinking low and tears falling down, I heard an angel whisper, take that fiddle down. Take that fiddle down, son. Take that fiddle down. We got company coming. They'll want to hear me play. Take that fiddle down, son. Take that fiddle down. We got company coming. I'm sure they're gonna stay. As he makes his way towards heaven, he'll be washing through the leaves. Way out in the distance, angels playing Big John McNeil. As the gates of heaven open, I hear that lonesome whistle blow. Orange blossom special, here to take him home. When he sits right next to Jesus, maple sugar first in line. Playing Lone Star Ragged in the mood is not that far behind. But diggy low with the bow, what a beautiful sound. Take that fiddle down, son. Take that fiddle down. Take that fiddle down, son. Take that fiddle down. We got company coming. They'll want to hear me play. Take that fiddle down, son. Take that fiddle down. We got company coming. I'm sure they're gonna stay. Take that fiddle down, son. Take that fiddle down and let the angels play Jolie Blanc. That's the story of my uncle's life. Hi. Thank you so much.
Jimmy, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for coming all the way to Lloydminster and playing for us today. I hope to hear you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.